All right, welcome to my channel. My name is Audra Miller. I'm so excited you're here. If you're tuning in, whether morning, afternoon, evening, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Today, I'm excited. I'm standing up because I'm so excited about the topic we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about plant-based health. We're going to talk about health. Actually, let me rephrase that. We're going to talk about some plant-based health, but not all, but rather just some health tips, okay? And what I've been learning, and my focus the last 2 years, has been to do life based upon biblical principles, because the Bible teaches us how to be successful in every single area of our lives. Did you know that? Whether mental, physical health, physical health, financial, emotional, the word's got the key, okay? The word has the key for us. All we got to do is find the keys, start applying them, and we can have an amazing, prosperous, abundant life. So I'm going to share some health principles with you based by biblical principles. I'm going to share some things that help me. I'm going to have my iPad here. So I'm going to first read off some verses so we can just kind of set the tone, and then we're going to jump right into some awesome tips, okay? So the first verse I'm going to read is out of Romans 12, verse 1 and 2. It says, "And so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all he has done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind he will find acceptable. This is truly the proper way to worship him. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good, pleasing, and perfect." I don't know about you, but like light bulbs were going off the whole time I was reading this verse. So, first of all, we are to give our bodies to God, okay? They're not our own. We are to be a living and holy sacrifice. We're not supposed to copy the behaviors of the world, okay? By the way we eat, okay? This is let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. And I'm telling you, when you have that transformation of your mind, you're going to be blown away. You're never going to be the same because you will know which is good, pleasing, and perfect to God. The next verse is Romans 14:22 that I'm going to read to you. And this is actually one that really convicted me and really helped me stay true to my journey. It says, "You may believe," oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Romans 14:23. It says, "But if you have doubts about whether or not you should eat something, you are sinning if you go ahead and do it. For you are not following your convictions. If you do anything you believe is not right, you are sinning." And that verse kind of hit home well over a year ago when I first started my journey, because I knew what I was currently doing, which was eating a ton of fried food, eating the desserts, having more than one portion of dessert was not how I was supposed to be living. I knew that. But it wasn't until I read this that I was like, whoa. Like, that must actually be the Holy Spirit giving me that conscience in me to know, like, hey, you shouldn't be going through the Chick-fil-A drive-thru 3 times a week. You shouldn't be going for that second portion of dessert. Okay, so that was an awesome verse that helped me. In 1 Timothy, and I took some notes, 1 Timothy 4:8 tells us that physical training for our body is good. Like, this stuff is awesome. Like, who knew the Bible said this stuff? Who knew the Bible can give us health tips? Come on now, we got to learn this stuff. Once you're transformed, all of a sudden, the Bible's going to come alive. All right, 1 Corinthians 6, verse 19 and 20. Let me read those, and then we're going to jump into tips. "Don't you realize that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who lives in you and was given to you by God? You do not belong to yourself. You were bought with a high price, so you must honor God with your body." Honoring God with our body is not going to Chick-fil-A. is not eating dry. And nothing against Chick-fil-A. I'm just saying 3 times a week because I did that minimum 3 times a week, and I'm not kidding. That's how I lived. Okay. Honoring our body, I don't think, is being so overweight that we feel exhausted all the time, that we walk up the stairs and we're huffing and puffing. Honoring God with our body is not putting poison, okay, of fried foods and horrible sugars and processed stuff into our body. That's not how we honor God. How we honor God is by living different than the world lives, and maybe starting to put some real food of the word first. And then second of all, real food that God has provided for us on the earth. Somewhere in Genesis, it says, I have given you every plant that will bear fruit for your food. And every seed-bearing plant is for your food. So I would say let's start there, right? Okay, so I'm going to dive right into it. I've got a list of notes because I have a couple different topics I want to talk about today. I'm just going to kind of ease my way into this because, quite honestly, I'm so passionate about health right now and this journey that I could probably sit here or stand here and give you an hour session, but that's not my goal today. So a lot of people have asked me, what was your plant-based journey like? I'm going to tell you, obviously we live and we learn, right? So I've lost 65 pounds to date, based off of a very high plant-based diet. Last year, the year of 2022, I was pretty much 100% plant-based. Not 100, but like 99.9. I ate a lot of tofu, a lot of seitan, a lot of tempeh, a lot of fake meat, okay, Beyond Meat type of stuff. Had I known back then what I know now, I would do it totally different. So let's talk a little bit about the plant-based do's and don'ts. Had I to do it over, knowing then what I know now, I would have done about an 80% plant-based diet, 20% whatever I want. And that's actually what my lifestyle is like this year. Excuse me. It's like that this year. I am eating 80% plants, 20% lean meats. I say whatever I want. Not really whatever I want, but if we're celebrating an anniversary, if we're going to a wedding, I'm not gonna not take a piece of cake just because, oh my goodness, never in a million years. I'm not in that ditch, okay? But 80% healthy plant-based foods that God has given us, 20% like lean meats, lean choices, still wise choices. But again, if we're celebrating an anniversary, I'm probably going to have a piece of cake if I want a piece of cake. If I don't, then I won't, but okay. So I would have done that differently. I have cut out, I'm not saying I'm going to cut this out 100%, but as of right now, I have cut out like all the tofu, tempeh, seitan, everything. And here's why. Because I had overstuffed my body with soy products last year, and I had some issues because of that. Okay? So soy, your body cannot break down soy as well as a lot of people want to think it does. It's kind of the same with gluten. Gluten and soy are kind of in the same boat. Your body can process them, but not very well. Okay? And it can cause a ton of issues that I'm not going into today. So what would I do different? I would not eat any fake meat. Like, my advice to you, cut fake meat out of your life. Instead of eating Beyond Meat, like if you actually look at the ingredients, there's some horrible stuff in there. So what I'm doing this year is 80% plant-based. If I want some extra protein, I'm going to do chicken, turkey, lean fish, something like that. Okay. So that's the number one thing I would do differently than I did last year. I would cut out, limit your tofu, limit your seitan. I would not suggest eating tempeh, but I was eating seitan or tofu every single day. So instead of doing that, limit it to maybe 2 times a week. Okay. No fake meats whatsoever. Fake. Hello. That's a clue word. Let's see. Juicing. So I was big into juicing last year. I'm still into juicing. The do's and something I've learned now that I didn't know back then is I had fresh juice on hand 7 days a week, pretty much 6 days a week. Okay. What I didn't know is my body was not in a state of health at that point. I was still on my health journey. To be taking in that much nutrition at one time. So what it did was I was having all this amazing, nutritious juice entering my body, and my body kind of went into shock mode. It didn't know what to do. So I don't know if you've ever heard too much of a good thing is not a good thing. That was true for me. So what I would do now, and I would suggest to anybody who is starting to juice have 2 to 3 juices a week maximum. Do not do it 6 to 7 days a week like I did, because your body at some point, it will take a little while. I started juicing back in March, and I didn't have an issue until October where my body was so backed up it didn't know what to do with all the crap, if I can say that it was trying to get out. Okay, so it was too much for my body to handle at one time. So instead of juicing and having fresh juice 6 times a week, why not try? I would do 1 to 3 times a week to start. Okay, once you're in a very healthy state, I think you could juice every single day, but I would not start out like I did 6 full days a week. Okay. What else can we talk about? Limiting stress is so key for optimal health. Stress can come in different forms. Stress isn't just all like that you don't know how you're going to pay your bills, that you can't sleep at night. Like, it's not all that. Like, there's different forms of stress. So a lot of our stress actually comes from our food, because the food we're taking in is filled with chemicals. It's full of pesticides. Full of fake stuff. A lot of it is full of poison. And I know some of you are probably not ready to hear this, but it's the truth. It's things, if you look up some of those ingredients, the human body cannot process them, which leads to diseases of all kinds, because the human body cannot process fake stuff, okay? We were made for realness, okay? We were made for real food. We were made for greatness. Okay? Not crappy foods like McDonald's, or I love Chick-fil-A. I'm still a little biased, but like Chick-fil-A, okay? Our bodies aren't made for that. They're made for amazing, nutritious, real food, not the processed, not the fried, okay? So stress can come from the food we eat. That is the number one stress in Americans, is the way they eat. It puts stress on your body. When something isn't functioning correctly in your body, it might not show up right away, but it's going to show up at some point, and it's not going to be good. Okay? If you buy fruits and vegetables from the supermarket, make sure you are cleaning those with something and rinsing those with something that are going to draw the chemicals and the pesticides that they're sprayed with. Make sure you are rinsing them with something that's going to take that off before you're eating it, okay? My husband, sometimes he'll just grab an apple and just chomp on it, and it about drives me nuts because I'll tell you this, I'm going through some classes, as most of you know, some health classes, and if you would see how the people dress that go and spray our fields, our produce fields, that might be a clue that you don't just want to grab something and eat it. These people are dressed up in what I call a spacesuit. They have big masks on, and they're spraying our food with this stuff, okay? So that's a clue. You might, like, if they have to mask up and put a full bodysuit on to go spray that stuff on, you probably want to wash that off before you put it in your body. Just saying. Moving on. Physical stress is another big one. Straining at your computer or your phone for hours and hours a day is not healthy. Injury, so if you fall down the steps, or God forbid you fall on the ice, that can also put stress on your body. Emotional stress is another big one that a lot of people have. Medications, a lot of medications can be putting actually more stress on your body than they are helping your body, okay? That's a whole different topic for a whole different day, okay? So let's talk about some things you can do to start making healthier choices. We're in the month of January. No better time to draw a line in the sand and say, this is the last year I'm going to feel like crap, and get started making some healthy choices. So healthier choices, less burgers, less pizza, less fry foods. Start choosing more real foods, leafy greens, lean meat, okay? Fruits and veggies, those are all real foods. Not this processed stuff, this processed frozen pizza, this processed drive-through food, this processed meat and cheese that we can quick grab at the gas station when we're on a road trip, the processed cookies that we'll quickly grab because we didn't have time to make them. Y'all, like if you would just start cutting out processed foods, chips, that type of thing, and replace it with real food, you will be amazed at how good you start feeling. Okay? Let's see. What are some things to completely stay away from? This is my advice to you from what I'm learning. So a lot of people will use canola oil. There's like Wesson oil, right? Corn oil, vegetable oils, margarine, however you say that, sunflower oil, safflower oil, soy oils, and peanut oils should all be cut out of your diet if you are looking to gain optimal health. Those oils are known to cause tons of diseases, inflame your whole body. A lot of those oils, if you'd actually know, and some of you probably already know this, but they have to be boiled, and there's a whole process that some of these oils have to go through so you can even stand the smell of them. They are full of crap that should never be going in your body, okay? Replace these oils. So instead of using canola, corn oil, vegetable oil, margarine oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, soy oil, peanut oil, replace these with good oils that are olive oil. Oh, wow, we can process olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil. You can use grass-fed butter, okay? Instead of all these artificial, really bad for you oils, okay? Swap out condiments, guys. That's one of the biggest things I did last year was get rid of condiments. Ranch, mayo, ketchup, the whole 9 yards. I'm telling you, I don't know what your favorite condiments are, but when you start checking the labels and seeing the sugar content, the sodium content, another thing is a lot of dyes, just different things, a lot of natural flavorings that are not good for you at all. They have oil in them. A lot of the condiments have oil, a bad oil that your body can't process. I started swapping out all my condiments, and I'm telling you, it made the hugest or the biggest difference, okay? One thing I love is, the brand I love is Primal Kitchen. I'm not going to vouch for all their stuff because read your labels, okay? But their ketchup is sugar-free. It's amazing. They do not have oils in any of the products I use from them. There's no oils that are bad. Okay, they might use avocado oil instead of sunflower oil, which your body can process, okay? So again, look at your condiments. If you're looking for better health and you want better health, condiments are another huge thing to switch out. Start swapping out your Hidden Valley Ranch, your Heinz ketchup for Primal Kitchen options, and notice how much better you start feeling. And again, it's not going to be an overnight feeling, okay? For me, it took me about 3 to 6 weeks on each product to be like, or each swap I did, to be like, wow, all of a sudden I had this surge of energy, and I was like, where's this coming from? And then I'm like, oh, I'm not eating 50 grams of sugar in a tablespoon of ketchup anymore. I'm not putting in my body yucky vegetable oil that I used to fry my stuff in. Like, it might take some time, but these are just a few things to start swapping to gain better health this year. All right. Let me see. Another thing Primal Kitchen has is real ingredients. So another thing that I do is if I can't read or if I don't understand what ingredient it is, and I gotta go search what is this, whatever the ingredient is, that's a sign like, is this a natural thing? Is it natural? Is it real? Or is this some kind of fake preservative? Okay, watch your preservatives too, because our bodies can't digest some of that stuff either, okay? All right, a couple more tips and then we're off of here. Drink more water. So for me personally, I always drink every single day. I drink at least half of my body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 160 pounds, you will drink 80 ounces of water, right? I drink a minimum of half my body weight in ounces. Honestly, I always drink a little bit over that, but I suggest drinking at least half your body weight in ounces. Track it, guys. That's the best way to do it. So also, some of you guys are like, oh, well, I'm pretty plant-based. I think I'm pretty healthy. Almond milks and creamers, you guys, are something you want to check your labels on because, again, I didn't realize this until I learned to check my labels. The almond milk I used for months had tons of gums in it, which are preservatives. It had two sunflower and safflower oil in them. Like oil in milk? What? Like, what? Sugar, preservatives, and it's things like this. It had natural flavoring. Again, things our gut cannot break down. And then we think we're healthy. And then, like for me, I thought I was pretty healthy. And then I came out with this crazy health issue and I was like, no way, no way. Well, it was the things I didn't know. I was filling my body with soy every single day, chock full of soy, something the body can't break down well, and filling my body with oils that it can't break down very well, okay? Preservatives, things like that. So check your almond milk, check your creamers. I'm telling you, 95% of creamers have oils in them. Chuck them. One brand I love, I don't have it with me, but it is Elmhurst. They have amazing milks. They have 2 ingredients, water and nuts in their milk, okay? So no oils, no gums, no preservatives, no sugar, no natural flavoring added, okay? So Elmhurst is one of my favorite brands. They have an amazing oat French vanilla creamer that if you need your creamer, they have French vanilla. They also have one that is pistachio. It's actually pretty good, believe it or not. So I highly recommend them. Less is more, guys. The less ingredients a product has, the better quality it is. If you look at your labels and you start seeing lists this long, that's not good. When you see lists this long, you probably got a pretty good product, okay? So yeah, I think that's about everything for today. If you are wanting to take your health to the next level, I would definitely recommend these tips. At some point, I want to go into stress. I want to talk about stress and the effect it has on your body. I'll be talking about different diseases and how to reverse some of those in the future. Again, I'm not here to tell you this is a cure for all. I'm just here to spread some light, spread some truth, spread some truth and light on a subject that's kind of dark in the world today. A lot of people are not educated. They grow up on Lunchables and frozen pizzas and tons of pop and Little Debbie's that cause little diabetes at some point, okay? So all like the Oreos, the crackers, the bought-in cereals, full of sugars, the cookies. I'm trying to think of all the things you'd have in your pantry. if they are in a box and processed food, you guys, that's not real food. Real food looks like something that grows on a tree or in your garden, okay? Instead of eating, I have a health group. I have a fitness group that I'm coaching this year, and it's so fun to like teach them food swaps. Like instead of going for the bag of Lay's potato chips, go for trail mix, okay? Instead of going for the cookies or the Lay's potato chips or the Ruffles. When life gets rough, eat Ruffles. How about when life gets rough, choose health, choose better options, choose fruits, choose veggies, choose real nuts that come from a tree. Okay? So it's been fun to like teach them to like food swaps, how to have optimal health. That is my goal by the end of this year, to have my health at a 10, because when I started last year at 65 pounds heavier than I was, my health was like at a 1 to 2. Okay, so I feel like my health now is at about a 6 or 7, but I'm ready to take it to a 10 by the end of the year. And so I am going to come on here and share tips. I will still be doing biblical principles as well, like just Bible studies, but I'm going to switch it up a little this year to throw out some health-based topics as well as good Bible. So I hope you guys have an amazing week, have an amazing day, whatever's left of it at whatever time you're watching this. And I appreciate each one of you. If you find value from my channel, feel free to comment, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to share whatever you want to do. And you can also follow me again on the Audra Miller Show on Instagram. I throw content out there almost daily. I can't say daily, but almost daily. So if you're interested in following me there, go follow me there. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.